You got to have goals or some kind of a roadmap, right? Like some agents just jump in and it's like, okay, I want to sell houses, but there's not really a goal.
If the last 12 months did not go as planned and you need a new strategy going forward in order to crush it over the next 12 months, this interview with a top producer is going to give you exactly that. Today I bring on Shanne Carvalho from Santa Cruz, California, who has consistently done over $50 million in volume year over year over year, has become one of the top agents in his market. And in this video, he peels back the curtains and breaks down his blueprint of how he leverages super ninja strategies like his client intake form in order to create an unforgettable process which has generated endless repeat and referral clients. But also, he breaks down how you need to reposition yourself in this current market based on the interest rates and everything else that's going on in order to give yourself a massive competitive advantage and start to build momentum despite what happened, because the past does not define the future, and if the last 12 months didn't go as planned, that does not mean you can't absolutely change your life over the next 12 months. So 2 quick things before we get started. Number 1, I'm going to link all of Shanne's incredible content below. He has an amazing podcast with his business partner that he puts out videos every single week. So you want to make sure to check that out. And then also, if you're looking for somebody like Shanne's help, a massive top producer that's helped many agents either brand new go to top producers or struggling agents that have experience build massive momentum, I've linked his calendar below so you can book a one-on-one call and talk privately with him on Zoom. So without further ado, let's bring on this massive producer and talk to you about how he scaled his business, but most importantly, how you can too. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a very special interview that's been a long time in the making. We've got on an extremely special guest, somebody that's near and dear to my heart like a brother, top luxury agent Shanne Carvalho out of Santa Cruz, California. So really excited, Shanne, to dive into how you've built this wildly successful, massive production business. And, you know, you've got so many different skill sets, and I know we're going to dive into them, but you've got a lot of things that people really need to hear right now, just based on where the market's going. So Shanne, what's going on, man?
Hey man, thanks for having me. And yeah, you are like a brother. I mean, all of you, I can't believe that, you know, just how close we get when we don't see each other in person all that often. But I think Zoom's made us a lot more friendly, you know, just so many Zooms. But no, so I'm out of California, the Santa Cruz area, born and raised here. Parents are immigrants from Portugal. You know, my dad ended up starting his own construction business. So I grew up building while I was in school, part-time, weekends, summers. And eventually he retired, my brother took over. But I do have a general contractor's license. Obviously, I can build a house from the ground up. I know everything about construction. Out of college, I got picked up by a lender, and I was actually moved up to Seattle for about 3 years. And then about 21 years ago, I got an offer to come back home and work for a lender here. Long story short, I had been recruited before I left to Seattle by a real estate broker when I was working at the bank to get my real estate license. And so I always had the thought of getting into the actual real estate sales. You know, when the market crashed, I had an opportunity to cross over. So in 2008, I crossed over to real estate sales. I eventually got my broker's license as well. And so I'm a California real estate broker as well as a salesperson. And I've been now selling for 15 years. And now I consider myself pretty much a full service broker.
100%, man. And you know, you've got a couple pretty crazy, you know, accolades and also achievements. Do you want to kind of touch on, you know, the fact that you don't just do residential, but you've got a suite of kind of businesses and services, and then also, you know, what the kind of achievement you had when it comes to referrals, which is pretty crazy.
Oh, the claim to fame. Yeah, I like to joke about that. Well, it speaks to being a big networker though, right? Because I love to network, and obviously I love to talk, as you all know. But in 2014, when I was actually still at Century 21, I actually got an award for being #1 in the world for outbound referrals, meaning that I closed 41 transactions away from here while only selling 34 houses here. So it was pretty incredible to get that accolade. And I mean, it was a 6-figure, you know, bonus, but had those been 41 referrals to California,
Yeah.
I would have been sitting on 7 figures just because of our prices. Yeah, I mean, that's, I guess, my little claim to fame in 2014.
Definitely. And we'll go into this because I've got a question related to that. But you know, you also, again, as I was kind of mentioning, you've done Airbnb, you've done investments, like, you know, refurbishing. Like, do you want to kind of talk about the whole kind of gamut of what you've done, and then we'll kind of get into the tactical.
Oh, sure. Yeah. So as a lender, I started flipping houses on the side, being that I had all the skills and I had my people. I started basically on my own. I'd flip 5 or 6 houses a year just for, it was fun and it was extra money. I was really busy with lending, but what was cool about lending, it's Monday through Friday and the banks are closed, baby. I mean, there's a way to have weekends off. So, I'd spend my weekends just, head first, just cranking. And so, yeah, I mean, I was doing flips and I started studying real estate investment. I got really interested in doing alternative financing and, working with bridge financing and private money. Then I talked, about like doing like agreement for deed or subject tos. Like I got really involved in the creative ways of practicing real estate. And that kind of, led me in the direction to, well, I guess I'll quickly go into this as well. When the market crashed and I was already in sales, because of my skills, it was really easy to work short sales because I had a mortgage background and I just understood how that worked and I had a lot of contacts in the industry. So I started working short sales and eventually bank-owned properties. With bank-owned properties, being that I was full service, the banks love me. It's like, oh my God, this guy can we give it to this guy. He'll take care of the property. He'll kick people out. He'll clean up the property. He'll remodel the property. He'll market it. He'll sell it. They got to the point where they trusted me so much they didn't need 3 bids anymore. And then they liked me so much they kept pushing me north. At one point, just to give you a geographical idea, so I'm in the Santa Cruz area, which is about an hour and 20 minutes south of San Francisco. At one point, they had me all the way north of San Francisco. And I mean, I had all the Bay Area. And essentially, that led to when the market came back to doing corporate relocations. It's like, oh, wait a minute. We could just hand the house over to this guy. We can send our people to Microsoft in Redmond, Washington, or we could send our GM people back east, or we could send our Facebook people to Florida because we have Google, Facebook, Apple, all those people are here, right? So those are two of the things that that's kind of what started, which we'll get into later, I'm sure. But this is what started that whole full service for regular people.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I think, a concept that I know is really near and dear to your heart and that I like to talk about is, serving versus selling. A lot of agents are just focusing on selling, and they've got this commission breath, especially when times get tight. But, you've always been an advocate of just serving and over delivering on value. And the more you provide and the more people you help get what they want, the more you'll get in return. But before we go into some of your really cool strategies, I would love to kind of unpack the referral side of things. 41 referrals is absolutely insane. So for anybody and I think a lot of people discount referrals. They're like, oh, it's 25% or, oh, it's going to be 1 or 2 a year. But, 41 a year, dude, is no joke. So what kind of led to that expansion of your network and the ability to even do 41 referral deals in a year?
Yeah, it's funny. So what you're talking about earlier, start with the commission breath and everything else. It's always about taking care of people and not worrying about the money because the money will always be there. And it's so funny because a lot of those referrals in 2014 was one of my asset managers. I did such a good job for them in California. They're like, God, we wish we had you in all these other states. We're having such a hard time getting good agents. Light bulb went off. All right, I got you. You need help placing properties. Half of those were REOs. Mm-hmm. And it was because I went out and I recruited a network of agents all over the country. I built a network for them all over the country using my skills, my intuition, my ability. Because I'm so seasoned in the different fields, it was easy for me to call and figure out who knew their stuff. And were they picking up the phone? Were they getting back to me? So that's kind of what led to that. Now, in today's world, I mean, obviously our group, almost 2,900 agents strong. Give you an example, I got 3 referrals yesterday. Yeah. And I sent one out just yesterday. 2 of them were within our group. Mm-hmm. And it's basically going to these events, getting to know people, talking to people, putting yourself out there, social media, video, etc. And also just always being willing to help. Not, hey, what do you got for me? No, it's never like that. I mean, and you can ask some of the agents that do send me stuff. It's like, I'll help them place them. California is huge. They call me for everything in California. Yesterday, I got one in Southern California. I have an agent there. I'm like, hey, I'll connect you. Even if I don't make anything, I don't care. Same. I just connect people. You know what I mean? And that kind of goes along the lines of not having commission breath, even with other agents.
Oh, 100%, dude. And I think, You know, one of the concepts that I hope people pull from this is I see so many agents that are, you know, they go to these events and their only focal point is like, what can I take from the event in terms of knowledge? And they're like, all these other realtors are just competition. Or they'll hit me up and say, well, Mike, you know, almost all the people that are following me on Instagram or TikTok or whatever platform, they're just all realtors. And they almost say it as like a negative thing. But what you'll see is like, if you pour into those people, that's a lot of opportunity, right? And I think it's a blessing in disguise that it's a lot of agents, but also, as you alluded to, going to these events with the intention of actually networking and meeting people. Like, these people aren't your competition, you're your competition, but these people could be, you know, really great referral partners that can lead to new connections like you've alluded to. So I love that you touch on that. But one of the things that I think you do incredibly well, and it's been one of my favorite things you always talk about, is this client intake form. And I think this will kind of lead into your whole customer journey of why you get so many repeat and referral clients. But do you want to kind of unpack what it's like when clients are working with you and the touch points that you're able to now do because of this really unique kind of asset that you've created?
Oh yeah, totally happy to. So yeah, I mean, I want to give credit to obviously the core coaching, because that's that was the best coaching I ever went through, and that's where a lot of these ideas came from. And then I basically developed them into what fit for my group or my organization. And the big one you're alluding to, the All About You form, essentially it's a Google survey, because, well, originally, you know me and not technology, used to send out a PDF. Hey, can you print this out, fill it out, and scan it back? So luckily, my team is younger than me and way more techier, so we converted that PDF form into a Google survey. And what it is that when we take in a new client, we want to know, like, you know, when's your birthday? Do you have kids? Do you have pets? You know, when's your anniversary? Like, where do you like to eat? What kind of coffee do you like? What's your sports team? What you're doing is you're getting to know your client on a personal level. This is a total cheat sheet for gifting, because I have a, you know, a gifting program. So it's like, can you imagine, like, at Christmas when you were a kid, you always knew what, you know, your folks knew what you wanted because you always let them know. Well, now you know what your clients want. And if you could relate to how exciting it was when you were a kid to get those Christmas presents, well, you know, now it's like your clients are getting something that they can use. I'm going to take it one step further really quick, but I'm going to try not to go way off on a tangent because you know me. But think about when you're doing this gifting, think about supporting local business at the same time. Mm-hmm. And then there's one more layer deep. So I got two things to unpack here. One is, oh, I'm a newer agent. I don't have a lot of capital. You know, how am I going to do this? Well, you could start small, but check this out. How about if you can get one of the small businesses in your community, let's say my coffee shop here, like South Point, this coffee shop that I do business with here. We have these little $5 gift cards, and I have my credit card on file. I send these to certain clients for different gifting, you know, oh, thanks for the referral or whatever it was. That card I don't pay for until they use it. Now I gave it them to spend. I want them to spend it. But think about this, less than 10% gets spent. And I'm guilty. I have over $2,000 in my vehicle in gift cards. I promise you, they don't get spent right away or not. So I'm giving to give, but here's this. You're taking your budget, you're protecting your budget, but at the same time, you're promoting a local business who's going to promote you. So this whole, like, All About You form, it leads to business, it leads to referrals, it leads to supporting local business. It also is a way to build something that you're not putting out thousands of dollars, right? And there's purpose. And then the last part is your clients are moving to the area. They're gonna be like, oh my gosh, my agent actually supports local business. He's so cool. He takes good care of me. He's trying to connect to me. Some of this gifting has created, like, for instance, my favorite sushi place. A lot of my clients, I take them there when we close or whatever. They still go there. They become regular customers. I see them there. You know what I mean? So yeah. I know I kind of went off on a tangent, but that All About You, it's the intention is to get to know them, to know how to gift, to kind of know how to place them, and to kind of almost, because we get a lot of people moving into the area, almost integrate them into the community, for lack of a better word.
I think that's awesome. And I really like that you unpacked that, because again, there's always that excuse of, well, I don't have money. And I think, you know, at the end of the day, as you kind of touched on, at the majority of it is kind of the concept of it's the thought that counts, right? Like, even if they don't use it, it's just the fact that you even did it, because most agents will do literally nothing. And I love supporting local businesses, especially during, you know, quirky times like we're in right now. So, you know, I think that that's a perfect segue into how you actually continue to pour into your people and your process for nurturing your database and getting repeat and referrals. So I'll kind of let you take this in any direction that you would like, but just looking at, you've built such a sustainable, predictable business that is scaling every year. What does it look like for somebody that's saying, hey, I've completely ignored my database for the last couple of years. Like, what do I do? Where should I start? Or what are you doing?
Yeah. Well, so I mean, and I can go in a lot of directions, but I'm going to try to keep it kind of on a higher level, and then people can always reach out to me for more detail. But I mean, first of all, like, you have to make the decision that you're going to be relational and not transactional. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what I do, if you're just a transactional person, then I mean, don't even listen to me. Like, go be transactional, and see how that serves you. I know there's different ways. There's people, I'm not saying you can't be successful being transactional, but my business model is all built on relationships, and I really care. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
actually care. I don't fake anything. Like, I love helping people. I've built a business where I do care and I do serve. And so essentially for me, with nurturing the database, sometimes I'm guilty of not staying in good enough touch. I've had my own, during COVID, obviously we were not as social, we were locked down. I've had some serious health issues the last couple of years. And it's like, there's moments when you can't do as much outreach as you like to. Like, my outreach isn't, hey, who do you know that's selling a house? My outreach is, hey, I haven't talked to you in a while. How's it going? Or how was that remodel? Or how you enjoying the new house? Like legitimate. Like, my reach out is like, how's it going? Is there anything you need? I'm always giving, always leading with value, always giving. So that's what I'm saying. If you're just transactional, like, this isn't for you.
Mm-hmm.
But what I was going to say, though, is amongst everything I had going on, by keeping the gifting program, by keeping the newsletter program, by keeping like the couple years, well, we haven't done a lot of the parties since COVID, but doing a couple years or a couple events a year for our clients. Also meeting, like, for instance, on a weekly basis, I like to try and set up 2 to 3, like, either coffee or lunch or a Zoom or whatever with people in my database. People, depending on kind of where they're classified, will have different things. Like, I have my VIPs, which are people that are constantly in contact, that really, send a lot of business, and, are just very engaged and really promote. And I like to reward them with, doing extra events, or just being an even better touch. So essentially, like, I've kind of grouped everyone based on their willing participation and their relationship to me. And I don't judge them either by, like, how much do you give me. It's more on how much people want to be engaged, because in real estate, some people do one transaction, that's it for their life, and they don't really care to hear about it. But then there's other people that you actually introduce, and they want to build their own portfolio, buy investment properties, maybe move up the ladder. Hey man, I got people that came in bottom of the, like, just bottom, like, lowest, cheapest house that you can get me in with bad credit. They're living in like $1 million plus homes now, or they've
Mm-hmm.
bought additional homes. And that's all because of the fact that I cared, I nurtured, stayed in touch, and always looked out for what was best for them,
Yeah.
versus just trying to get these transactions. So anyway, I'm going to kind of pass it back to you for a sec, because I mean, obviously I could go on and on with all this stuff.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of things I want to pack here. The first being, and I'll kind of go through a different sequence here, but the first being your VIP list. I think, I've heard you talk about this before, and I think it's actually super cool, because a lot of people, and you touched on this, but I'd like you to go a bit deeper, is that most people don't have a VIP list. Those that do are just going to look at who gives them the most business, but you've got people on your VIP list who, like, haven't given you like, you've got a really dynamic group of people that you have added to that list. So do you want to kind of unpack, like, what the VIP list is and how you include people, or how somebody makes it onto the VIP list?
Yeah, so for sure. So, I mean, from my coaching, it was always called your top 50 VIPs. That's what it's called. But you could have 30, you could have 20, you could have 80. Like, right now I have like 80 or 81 on there. So it's like, it's a list that varies. So it's all in Google, and you can do all the Google tags, right, for different groups. And so, like, I have VIPs that are also past clients, maybe they're friends. I mean, I'll have multiple tags on some of these people. Maybe they're businesses. I have people in VIP that have never bought or sold with me, or maybe they might even rent. It's just that it's people, like I said, they engage with you, they promote your brand, they send you referrals, they're genuinely interested in what you do and in staying connected. And I rotate people in and out depending on engagement and what we were doing. I even have some family members in there. I mean, for instance, my mom's a great referral source, so she's on the VIP list, and yeah, it's awesome. Like, she'll share stuff on Facebook. Our parents' generation is even less techie than I am, which that's scary. But I love the shares on Facebook and stuff. But anyway, so yeah, with the VIP, it's like, there's additional gifting, additional events. And it's not, I mean, you could be on the VIP list and just have bought a $400,000 mobile home. You don't have to be buying a, $5 million house. I mean, it has nothing to do with money or spending. It has more to do with the relationship, the engagement, and kind of who your core is. And they're the ones that you constantly see supporting you on social media, or, coming to events, or just basically staying in better touch. And so basically, like I said, they could be from anywhere. They rotate in and out. And they're like, when people do like Buffini or some of these other systems, it's like when they do their A, B, C. I mean, I guess these would be kind of like my A's, except they're not A's for just, hey, they're going to do business. They're just A's for the level of engagement and the relationship that we have.
I love that, being based on relationship versus transaction, which is, again, goes back to your concept versus of focusing on relationships versus transactions. Now, when it comes to gifting, the one thing that I'm pretty sure people are going to ask is, how often? Like, if you look at the average client, and I've seen your client intake form, the All About You form, where you've got all of the details of everything. Like, how often on average are you sending something? Are you doing it every anniversary, every holiday, every birthday, for every, like, what does that look like generally for you, for somebody that's saying, hey, I want to start adopting this gifting strategy to kind of stay top of mind?
Well, when you start, especially if it's a budget thing, just having a cool email, like doing, like, because a lot of people are doing their cool graphics for their posts and stuff. Just having a really cool email with a really cool graphic. Hey, happy birthday from our group, our team, whatever. You don't have to gift, right? Or you can even do like a Starbucks card, $5, right? But so for me, like, my VIPs, they're getting birthday gifts, even their kids, and then they'll get an anniversary gift, like a wedding anniversary. I don't. At one point, I was doing the whole home anniversary thing, but it's just not. I don't know. I lost interest in the, like, in keeping track, and they're moving. Like, it's just like the whole house anniversary thing. I was just like, that, in my opinion, that's a little overrated. So, but your birthday always stays the same. Your anniversary stays the same. Your kids' birthdays, like, those are predictable. You know what I mean? Like, trying to keep up with all that other stuff, it was kind of, I don't know. It kind of seems stupid to me in a certain extent. Oh, I've been in my house for 3 years. Like, I mean, okay, what do you want? Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, I just stuck to, like, birthdays and the anniversaries. Now, periodically, like, I have season tickets for the 49ers, and this is kind of funny how this works. So one of my investors, really good client. I mean, this guy, like, him and his wife are like, I mean, I can't even say enough about what a relationship we have and what this guy's done for me, even on a personal level, when I've been in some difficult times. I mean, this couple is just awesome. And I give him my Niners season tickets to a game when I was gone to the conference last week. While I was gone, hey, we found a property that we want to have our horses on. We want to write an offer. $2 million offer while I was at the conference. And I gave him these tickets. And I mean, would they have come to me anyway? Oh, I mean, sure. But it's like, did that have something to do with it? That, like, I thought about them and I was top of mind. So, I gave them tickets. They sent me a selfie from the game. They're so excited. Because, and the 49ers having a really good year this year. So it's like, it's even more, I mean, it's lit there. I mean, I was there for Dallas last Sunday, and it's such a party. It's so much fun. And so anyway, it's not always like systematic. I might have tickets. The other thing is, I'm an avid fisherman. As you know, you see fishing everywhere, right? So I have a list of clients that like fresh fish. So when I come home from the boat, it's about 30 minutes south, I literally stop at clients' houses with big old coolers in the back of my truck, and I drop off fish. So it's like, the gifting isn't there. There's the scheduled gifting, and then there's like, okay, Shane's kind of crazy, right? Like, he's giving his clients raw fish, like, so it just, I mean, the gifting really does come from the heart, and it is, it really is intended just to be like, hey, I appreciate you, you're top of mind. And that's, like I was saying earlier, like, the last couple of years with everything I've been going through, that's still going. So there's still a connection or staying in touch,
100%, dude. And I think this goes back, and we've talked about this with George Bryan, which is customer journey, like how people feel before, during, and after working with you. And you see so many agents, and the reason why they struggle to get to your level of production is they really care before people work with you, they really care during, and then afterward they're on to the next deal. And I think a lot of people don't understand and truly embrace the concept of delayed gratification, saying so many people are focused on closing the current deal that they're forgoing the 7 future deals that they would have given you if you did the right thing, poured into them, and actually cared about them relationship wise versus just the transaction. So there's one more kind of angle that I'd like to go down with this in terms of positioning during this market, because I know you've done really well with that. But is there anything else that you do in terms of nurturing your database to continue to get repeat and referral clients?
So, I mean, you're talking about client journey. So during the transaction, every Tuesday, we give our clients an update. I don't care if we're working on your house, it's not on the market yet. I don't care if you're a buyer that, just got into contract and you know what's going on. Every Tuesday, you get an email like, hey, here's what's happened this week. Here's what's going on. You better not be asking me what's going on. Like, you better know what's going on. If you don't, I've failed you. And so, because I've had, my assistant at times, or, support staff has been like, but they already know. They just won the contract yesterday. I don't care. It's consistency. Every Tuesday, they're going to know that they're going to get an update. I also make it really clear that I'm their agent. It doesn't matter how much support staff I have with my team. Call me, text me anytime. I don't put them off. Because the problem is some people that get to this level of production, it's like, okay, here, next, here, you go over here. They'll do this, right? You're the face, right? A lot of clients are aware of that now, and they hate that. And I'm sure George probably has his take on that, right? For client journey, where like, look, I'm hiring you, not just some group of people you're going to throw me to. I'm so big on that. And so that client update is a big piece. And I mean, you could do gifting and stay in touch and everything else. But then, when it's time to perform, you got to be top notch. And then lastly, after the transaction closes, well, actually one step back, before the transaction closes, during those Tuesday updates, or when there's a win with your client, hey, by the way, please keep us in mind for any referrals, or hey, by the way, would you mind giving us a review? So it's like those Tuesday updates are a good opportunity to get your reviews or get any kind of referrals, because as soon as people close, they're usually busy moving or whatever, and it's hard to get a review out of them. But then after the fact is, and I tell clients, I'm really clear, anything you need, reach out to me. I got referrals. I got people that, I can help you with. And it's gotten to the point now, since we're full service, that I just double ended a transaction that closed 3 weeks ago. I have a crew working full time there for almost 2 weeks now, like remodeling the place for the guy. Like, that's like, we've gone to that level of service now where I was trying to refer him to other people, but then he's like, oh my God, but you did such a good job staging this place. You're getting this place ready. And so we're at that level now where people fall in love with our work and they can see the passion and the care. And so now when the transactions are over, it's no longer just referrals. Now we're actually getting pulled into doing a lot of the work. And you build friendships. Like this guy we're working with right now that just moved in from Portland, him and his wife. I love this guy. Like literally, I met him when we got into escrow like 3 months ago. He's a retired landscape architect. And it's like, it's so weird. Like some of the clients, kind of like, you and me and some of the group, how we become like family. Like it's incredible the relationships I've built with absolute strangers.
Oh, 100%, dude. And I think, going back to what you've been able to do with clients, I think it's really powerful to see that you've really just leaned into being like the centralized hub of value. I think a lot of people just look at the one-to-one transaction. If people are curious or interested in real estate, residential real estate, whatever, then okay, I'm all in. But the ones that win, like you alluded to, is like, oh, you need a plumber, oh, you need a roofer, oh, you need a stager, like I've got you. And the more that you expand your network, the more valuable you become, and thus the more resourceful you are, and the amount of times people think of you top of mind. Because if they're thinking about you top of mind only when they're looking to buy or sell, that's once every 5 to 7 years. If they're thinking of you as, oh, like anything is happening, I need somebody for this, and you're the one, you're in a pretty good position. So looking at the current market, I think one of the things that you've done extremely well is adapting to the market. I think a lot of agents say, this is how I do business. This is how I'm always going to do business. I only do a single type of transaction and then I'm good. But, you know, during market shifts, you've learned REOs, you've learned short sales, you've learned all of these different things, and even repositioned your prospecting and lead generation strategies tailored to the market. So we're obviously going into a completely uncertain market, you know, based on interest rates, the economy, everything. What's your advice to people that, you know, are just one trick ponies, if you will, that, you know, because you've done so well at, again, always moving and adapting. And I think Joshua Smith is another person that comes to mind where when the market shifts, he shifts and always staying ahead of the curve. So what does that look like for you?
So, well, first of all, when you talk to like uber wealthy, successful people out there, they always go against the grain, right? So right now the building's burning, everybody's running. Who's going in? The firemen, right? So this is going against the grain has always been, I'm not going to say who I heard that from because I don't want to get political, but I was at a real estate event in San Francisco. I'll never forget this. I was at a real estate event in San Francisco 15, 16 years ago. And this one person that actually happened to end up being one of our presidents said, always go against the grain. And that whole thing stayed implanted in my mind. And there's been a couple cycles since. But here's the thing. First of all, I could get on the soapbox. We could talk about this for an hour alone, but I won't do that. I am beyond like irritated with all the BS out there. In fact, I even made a post about this exact topic, especially here in the US. We create these markets.
Yeah.
Like we, the people, like there's not like who gives a shit about interest rates? Like the stupidest stuff. Oh my God, interest rates. Oh my God, the economy. Oh, who gives a shit? Do you need a place to live? Yeah. Let's figure it out. Like, it's really that simple. Like, oh, is it a good time to sell? Well, I mean, who are you going to sell with? How are you going to present your property? You know, what market are you in? Oh, is it a good time to buy? Well, what's the plan? You need a place right now that is this like forever place? Is it full time? Is it a second home? We just figure it out. So right now, I don't give a shit about interest rates. I mean, yeah, a lot of my clients have been all cash, which that doesn't matter. Like, honestly, in my market this year, over 80% have been all cash. So rates are even out the window, but volume's down 30%. Interest rates are a bit higher, but because there's less competition, there's room in these appraisals to get credits. So if you're really concerned about the interest rate or if it's a qualifying thing, let's build in a freaking credit. Like in a hot market, you would have been paying another 50 or 100,000 for the property. So just suck it up right now, Buttercup, and take the $50,000 credit, buy the rate down. And next year, you could be eating popcorn watching all these other guys fighting over properties that are going for $200,000 more. Like it's so, the market's not predictable. Like I always tell my clients, I don't have a crystal ball. This is the first time in my, so I started in 1999. So this is what, my 24th year. This is my first time in 24 years. Like this is a very weird market I've never seen, but it's my first time in 24 years where I see exactly what's coming. Like I see it. Rates are going to drop. Inventory is going to stay low. Housing starts are still too low. We don't have enough housing. People are living longer. A lot of the baby boomers have been retiring. I mean, a lot of people are still moving into California, although a lot of people are moving out. We don't have enough housing. We just don't. And with the limited inventory and with these other people that are part of the sheep kind of following, oh my God, rates, I'm going to stay on the sideline. Well, when all these sheep come off the sideline next year, what do you think's going to happen, right? And so I guess to kind of go back to the question, because I obviously ventured out a little bit, is, you've already built yourself as the expert with your clients and they trust you. My clients are killing it right now. I talk to other agents like, how's it going with you? Oh, we're waiting for rates to come down. I mean, I can't even keep a straight face. I'm like, what? What? Like, I'm like, you're the freaking realtor. You're the professional. You're sitting on the sidelines. It's like, can you imagine, dude, you're at a football game and then the starting quarterback goes and sits in the bleachers, like in the 200 section. Yeah, we're losing right now. I'm just not going to go. I mean, do you hear how stupid that is? Like, I can't even keep a straight face. It's like, look, you're either going to be a professional and be good at what you do and serve your clients, or get the hell out of real estate. Yep. Like, that's just, it's ridiculous. So, adaptability, just really quick to touch on adaptability. Adaptability in the last 15 years really is a thing. When I transferred from mortgage to sales, like 2008 to 2009, that's when the whole crash happened in 2008 here in the US. I don't know how, what your timing was in Canada, but there was a lot of baby boomer and older agents that just found that as an opportunity to exit the market. They didn't want to learn something new, but at least they kept it real. At least they were like, oh, you know what? I've been doing this for such a long time a certain way. I'm not interested in getting into all this, right? So, a lot of them went out. And hey, if I had money and could retire, I would have gone out, right? I mean, sure, that's great. But for people like me, hungry young agent, let's dig in, baby. Let's strap it up. Let's dig in. I'm not one to really tout or brag, but do you know that I came in grinding, doing the low end short sales? I had some transactions that would take 2 years to close because the banks were so slow. Dude, we had to fax stacks of paper. I wrote handwritten purchase agreements on carbon copy. My writing sucks, dude. It's worse than the doctor. I'd mess up and have to start over. I'd have to meet clients, go to their house, they'd have to come to the office. Dude, real estate was so hard functionally. Like, if we had this stuff back then, oh my God, right? So my third year in real estate, I was the top producer in my entire brokerage. My third year, I was slumming, doing the bottom. Like, give you an example. I closed 41 transactions in 2012, and my third year, and a lot of them were REOs and short sales. My average sale price was only like $220 or something. And then with all the referral fees and everything you have to pay and the bank's cutting commission, I think I only made $250,000. That's a lot of work, dude. I had one assistant. That's a lot of work, dude. And with the bank-owned properties, like everything you had to do, like, dude, I adapted, and I've always adapted, and I've always followed the market. I did the same thing as a mortgage broker. I was a top producing mortgage broker from pretty much within my first year. I went to number one. I never let number one go. And it was all about, we're doing purchases, we're doing VA streamline refis, we're doing debt consolidation. This market's hot, this market's hot. Hey, right now, Colorado Springs, it's military, that market's moving. It was always follow the market. So you do have to adapt, but then through this whole process came nurturing the database and the people you have helped, and it just keeps piling on. So there's all this navigating, following the market, but then there's always that back up, right? So it's like, maybe this market, maybe the volume is a little lower. Maybe I'm only doing 20 new units versus 35, but then I'm getting 10 or 15 from my database, right? And so day one, it might be 3 or 4, but by year 20, it could be 30, 40, 50, depending on how good you've done. So changing markets, be the expert, build a relationship. These people that have been with you from day one, if you're telling them to sell and the market's giving them all this other bullshit, they're going to sell. If you're telling them, hey, it's a good time to buy, they're going to trust you. If you're going to be the idiot standing on the sidelines with them, what do they need you for? The people that are afraid of like Zillow and buyers aren't going to have commissions anymore. Look what just happened with Remax. Remax probably had other issues. They'd probably just rather pay up than like go out of business, right? I don't know. I'm not going to get into the politics, but I'm just saying, like, I never conform. So if that was like, we're going to conform, well, good for you. I go to war, just like I would go to war for my clients, right? So it's like, I don't sit here and worry about, oh, we're not going to be needed anymore. Oh, AI is going to take our job. Oh, Zillow's going to take it up. Fuck all that. No, like, you're needed if you bring value. If you're going to sit on the sidelines with them and watch the news and everything else, go find another job, right? So anyway, I hope I didn't go too far down the rabbit hole on this one, but be the professional. Always know what's going on and don't react. Adapt, right? Like, don't watch the news or like talk, gossip with people. Like, just follow, like, see what's going on. I'm like total numbers guy, right? I came from the mortgage inside out. I love numbers. So the last piece of this before I throw this back to you is this: when they're hung up on the rates, right? We're expecting 5 to 10% appreciation next year, right? So my median price in my neighborhood is like 1.8 million, right? So do the interest rate 1% less or 1.5% less on $180,000 more and see what that payment looks like. And then tell me how much you love interest rates.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
100%.
The data doesn't lie. So all this bullshit about interest rates is just bullshit. Show them the numbers. If they don't trust you, show them the numbers. Okay, well, let's see. Do you want to have, because our property taxes here are 1.25%. Do you want to have 1.25% more on 200,000 more on your forever house and take this payment right now that's going to be higher because you're paying more, but you have a lower interest rate? That's not a win. The win for these people is the cost. And if I can get it to cost less now and you don't have to compete and you can have what you want, then why do you want to wait to see what happens next year, right? So anyway, I think I killed that topic. So
Yeah, I do. Well, and I've had some really important conversations with people about this, and I think the concept that people need to understand is that it's always a good market for somebody. There's always people needed
right.
to move, and I tell people, like, if you think the market is trash right now, go filter your MLS by how many properties have sold over the last 30 days and look at how much you just missed out on, because usually there's hundreds or thousands every 30 days. You just need
Always.
a sliver of those. And I think you said a couple important things, which is, it really does come down to mindset and perspective, right? You can look at this as an opportunity market, or you can look at this as, again, I'm going to listen to the narrative of the headlines. I'm going to listen to what everybody else is saying. I'm going to tuck my head into my turtle shell and wait for things to come back. Well, if you do that, people are going to take your market share and you're going to get your ass kicked, right? So, there's two things I really want to kind of just finally unpack here to bring it full circle. You've done really well at not just nurturing your business, but also getting business. And you've also helped a lot of other agents start to build momentum and get business. So if there's people that are saying, okay, Shane, last 12 months didn't go as planned, didn't hit my goals, the next 12 months I'm fired up, ready to go. What would your advice be to somebody to start building momentum in this current market condition, regardless of where it goes, in order to just have the right mindset or the right perspective, or, any certain prospecting strategies that you use to get clients? What would your advice be to somebody not doing what they're expecting?
Well, I think that first off, and I think it's one thing I did wrong when I started at the very beginning, is you got to have goals or some kind of a roadmap, right? Like some agents just jump in and it's like, okay, I want to sell houses, but there's not really a goal, right? There's not really so you kind of need that map. And then the thing too is I'll have agents throw goals at me and then they don't know how to break it down. Oh, I want to make $150,000. Okay, well, what does that look like? And so then I teach them how to take the median price in their market, what their commission is, talk about splits. I really help kind of break it down. And then we break it down even further to, okay, to get that business, what do you got to do? Like how many calls, how many door knocks, whatever you're doing. I mean, so I think we start with kind of just laying out the plan. And then of course, for me, I'm very much about letting people know. There's so many people get their license and they miss out on transactions even in their circle because they're the secret agent. They don't let people know. I hate when people come out I'm doing real estate now, so send me all your business. No, no, but let people know that, hey, I'm in real estate. And obviously you and I both know that there's a lot of ways to let people know this without sounding like a total idiot. But basically, definitely don't be a secret agent. And then, of course, in my case, it's start building the database. And the agents, because I'm a certified mentor, I mean, the agents that I mentor, I make them go, okay, seriously, dude. And I get it because I'm terrible with technology. So I have agents sometimes okay, so where's your database in? My phone. Oh, okay. What's in your phone? I got 40 contacts. Yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be a minute. But I just if they don't have a CRM they're using or they're not that far along, I love just going into Google, go into Google Contacts and start grouping them. Well, how do I group them? I haven't done any transactions. Well, group family, friends, group business people, group people you went to college with. Group your just start building groups. And it's going to trigger you for, oh my gosh, and I know so-and-so, and I know so-and-so, and just start building your database from the very beginning. And then I know I'm going to keep this short because obviously it's another topic we could dive into forever, but, basically the consistency of whatever you are going to do. So, hey, I'm a new agent, and I know I keep saying I can't spend a lot of money. The reason I say that is because, how often I hear that? I don't have money to spend. So that's why I'm always thinking about the free stuff. Plus I'm Portuguese. We like to think we're cheap, right? But anyway, geographic farming is something I'm really fond of, and I send out postcards for $300 to $400 a month. To me, that should be affordable as a realtor. For some realtors, it's not, so that's fine. But I think that, from day one, and my geo farm is really produced. It's not a high turnover farm, but it's a very high dollar farm. And I know everybody. If I drive over there right now and I'm hanging out, walking up and down the neighborhood, I will talk to I'll start talking to people today and I could be there all day. And it's just because I've gotten to know, I'm passionate. I know the area. I know the market. I've sold probably 50% of the homes in there over the last 10 years. And so it's I think that starting a geo farm from day one is really important. And then starting a consistent like newsletter, email a newsletter to everybody, you know, just be in front of people, be top of mind. And then, you know, if you're willing to dive in and be relational and really start doing the things that I'm talking about, get the all about you. Maybe the birthday card is just a nice email with one of those, you know, just start building like that. But consistency. When I have newer agents crying that they don't have any business, I ask them for 2 weeks to track everything they do. I've gotten maybe one time in my entire career has somebody actually given me 2 weeks of tracking, because they're just not doing it. Like, I used to preach morning routine left and right because I get up at 5:30. I like to work out in the morning, and 5:30 8:30 is my time. Positive affirmations, workout, breakfast, maybe go down to the beach, whatever. Like, it's like I got, you know, so I know that not everybody, you know, it got to a point where all of a sudden morning routine, it's like, no, that's toxic. I'm not a morning person. Well, whatever. I don't care what it is, but have a routine. Not that I'm going to get up at 10 o'clock and I'm going to cruise in. Or like we have our broker tours on Thursday. Some people think broker tours like a holiday. Oh, let's go tour some properties in a group, or let's do the beer party bus. Oh my God, the beer party bus, for God's sakes. They'll come by my broker tour. They're all buzzed at like 11 in the morning, like on a Thursday. Like, and then, oh yeah, let's go to lunch. And then, oh, the afternoon tour, maybe we'll go to happy hour. Like, it's like, there's nothing wrong with socializing in real estate and learning and getting to know your, you know, fellow agents and learning in the different events that are put on and stuff. But it's like, kind of like don't go too far, and then just kind of like maybe I'm going to go to this event or this mixer, but then at the same time, I'm going to spend time, you know, maybe getting to know this area, or maybe I'm going to go preview properties in what's going to be my geographic farm. But essentially just like laying out your calendar and picking out your solid prospecting times. Like for me, it's an hour a day, and like Monday is my 50 VIPs, right? So I have like a calendar of what I do. So I think as a new agent, picking what you're going to do, it's not a party. Like, pay your dues. And maybe you haven't earned the right to go socialize yet. Maybe, you know, hey, when I get 5 solid buyers that I'm showing property to, maybe then I'll take like a Thursday afternoon and go do broker tour, maybe go to like some twilight mixer or something. But essentially, like, just consistency and repeat. The other thing is, I talk a lot about the, you know, mind and strength and discipline and everything else. Work even when you're not getting the results. Keep putting in the work. Like, trust the process, right? Because you can't control the market. You got to control the controllables. So the controllables are what you can actually do on your own, and do it even when we don't see results. If you do it for 2 or 3 years and there's 0 results, I mean, obviously something's wrong. And if you're doing it and you feel like something's off, go to your mentor, go to one of your colleagues, go to somebody who's kicking ass in your market and say, hey, you know, I've been doing this for, you know, 5 months and I've gotten 1 lead. What do you think I'm doing, or whatever? You know what I mean? But don't give up. And then I'm guilty of this. Shiny objects. You're a new agent. Oh, I could go do this on YouTube. No, I could do this on Facebook. I could do this on Instagram. Oh my God, TikTok. Or, oh, you know, it's like, dude, you could spend days. Oh, AI, like, you could spend days getting lost in all that stuff. So I think just really just picking 2 or 3 things. I always talk about this. Pick 2 or 3 things and go deep. For some people, it's like pick 1 thing, right? Like with my ADD and shit, it's really probably 1 thing, because it'll end up being 3 things, right? But just, it's consistency, keeping it simple, and then just, dude, it's basic steps. You know, like if your database is on your phone and people don't know you're an agent, like, you could probably pick up a couple of deals just by doing like the basic stuff I told you. I mean, I went to number 1 in a brokerage that had a luxury market involved and had agents been in the business for 30, 40 years. I went to number 1 in 3 years. You know, and like I said, I'm not one to brag, but that shows how hard work, even slumming it at the bottom. Even as a mortgage broker here, my average loan amount was less than the agents in my office. My average loan amount when I was a mortgage broker my last year during the boom was $425,000. Those agents in my brokerage, their loan amount average was over $1 million. I funded over $100 million the year of the boom here in real estate by myself with a support staff. Grinding, dude. Grinding. 3 to 1. Think about it. $425,000 loan, 450, something in that range. Takes 3 of those to get to $1 million plus. So it's like, basically, you know, consistency, committing to it, taking what comes. Like, you cast a wide net, taking what comes. Oh, but I want to do luxury listings. Well, target those, but learn the business and take what comes. And don't tell me that, oh, I want to be this, I want to be that, until you taste it all. Because I've had agents be, well, I want to help buyers in this classification. No, you don't know that yet. Just go practice the real estate, Go get a few deals under your belt, see what you really like and what you're good at, and then target that, but keep casting that wide net, because you can't afford to like be like, oh yeah, I'm only going to help this person. You can't afford to do that. Go learn. Because like for me, like, yeah, I know I've gone a little further with construction, lending and everything else, but even as a realtor, you should know everything about your market and around your market. You know, if it's mobile homes or land or condos down, you need to know your market. Because what if you have a buyer that shifts, now they don't want a single family, and now you're like, oh yeah, I don't do that. Like, you know, so that's the adaptability too, right? So anyway, I don't know if that answers your question, but that's what I would do.
Yeah, definitely. I've got a really, really quick one, and then a final question. So the really quick one is, you talked about building your database and adding people to it. What is your number one recommendation for somebody saying, okay, I've got nobody in my database? What do you tell them to do?
Go meet 5 people every day. I don't give a shit. Go to the grocery store. I mean, if you one of those people that's shy, put on a t-shirt with some stupid thing, like ask me a question. I don't know, just go do something gimmicky if that's what you need to do. Go talk to people. Like 5 a day. That's what I tell my agents. Just go meet 5 people every day. You can build a database fast like that. 5 a day, even if it's only 5 days a week, it's 25 people a week times, in a month, that's 100. You meet 1,200 people a year. I mean, just by doing that, that's a pretty damn good start.
Big time. No, I completely agree, man. I think, there's so many good tips that you've been able to share, and bringing this full circle, the question that we always like to ask is, obviously now you and I are partners, and you were, one of, if not the top producer, your past boutique brokerage that had a significant market share in Santa Cruz. Why did you decide to make the transition over to EXP in our specific group? And then also, what can people expect when partnering with you?
So yeah, no, great question. Well, so first of all, I had been approached about EXP, and I wasn't buying it. I thought it was a joke. I thought it was a fad. But one of the things is that you talk about owning versus renting your business. And, for me, especially because I was doing a lot of production, I have no problem with other people making money, right? I was fine with the brokers making some money, but there was a lot of money there that I wanted to be on my side. And then I also wanted to kind of do things my way. And I wanted, because I'm in a smaller market, like I was tired of being, in competition with my buddies that I worked with, my friends, colleagues. Like I just wanted to be like on an island. Like I wanted to be my own brand. I wanted to go conquer the market however I wanted to. Never wanted to feel like I was stepping on toes. And I wanted to be able to actually brand and stand out. When you're in these brokerages, you're just like they all have the same like platform, websites. Like some of them even share the same social media posts. Like I have friends in certain brokerages, I'll get the same post 5 times in one day from all these different agents. It's like, so it was, a lot of it was first, money was a big one because it was significant. It was 6 figures.
I remember we ran the numbers.
Yeah.
It was almost like 111,000.
Something. It was significant. And so the money was one, but then being able to separate. And then I've always been a bit of an entrepreneur. I'm not into the whole corporate thing. And then as far as joining you, well, my weakness is, marketing, as far as, I mean, that I'm good with database and all this. I've always been good with that. But social media, YouTube, like all of that stuff. In fact, I saw Mo at the conference last week, and I thanked Mo again for connecting us, because during COVID, I met you on a Zoom that Mo was doing. Yeah. So anyway, we were talking last week about that, and he ended up coming over to EXP. He had kind of a rough journey with what he was trying to do, and he ended up at EXP as well. And I was at the EXP Latino event, and we were talking. But yeah, so I really wanted your support on the marketing side, and then you brought in Connor, the closer. Started talking about fishing. In fact, you reminded me about that. And it's like between you, the marketing, Connor, it just all of a sudden it turned into like, well, why don't we just work together? So I just, there's no regret. I mean, it was the right decision. I've absolutely thrived here. Unfortunately, it happened during COVID where, well, fortunately, COVID, our company is COVID proof, which was a big thing too with making the move, because I couldn't work in our building. But what I'm saying is that, the part that was kind of unfortunate was that, during COVID, we didn't all get to actually get together in person and really network. And, I felt like I never really got to fully, absorb it all. But now, as we've done these events and all gotten to know each other in person, it's exploded. And I'm excited to, level up. I feel like I've kind of came in and been kind of cruising along. I don't feel like we've quite gotten, we're doing great, but I feel like myself personally, I just haven't really gotten to the level I want to get to yet. And so I look forward to continuing to grow with all of you guys.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, we've become family. It's, you know, which is the coolest part. But the kind of fun aspect of this is like, you know, you've helped so many new agents go from either being at a past brokerage and doing no deals, or, you know, struggling to starting to build momentum. You know, what can people expect when partnering with you and getting your support in partnership with Also Mine?
So I mean, for me, and this is just always being honest, because that's just who I am. Like, if you're willing to put in work, you can always count on me. Like, I make time for you, and I get that as we've grown a lot, and especially like, look at you. I mean, it's hard to make time for everybody when you get to a certain level, right? But for those that truly want to work hard and want to be successful, they'll always have my support. I mean, with me, I'm a licensed general contractor, licensed real estate broker. I was a mortgage broker. I mean, this is all I've done my whole life. I'm passionate about it. I freaking love it. Like, I absolutely love it. I live it. If you love the business and you're going to be in it for the right reasons, like, I'm your guy, right? But if you're just like, I just want to send out a bunch of mailers and do transactions, I don't give a shit about people, I'm going to turn and burn. That's not me. Like, I don't, it's fine. You can do that, but I'm super passionate. If, you know, if you're willing to put in the work and you want to grow and build what I've built, I'd love to, you know, I'd love to meet or talk, or, you know, just get together. And, you know, the other thing too is that I'm not full of ego, as far as like, I know a lot and I'm experienced, but I love to learn, and I learn a lot from newer agents. And then you and I joke with everybody about this in technology, dude, my newer agents, the kind of stuff I've learned from them, like, you know, it's like, it's almost like a trade, right? Like, I'll help you crush it in sales and fixing these houses or whatever. And then, you know, I'm learning all these little, like, the AI, dude, I've been using AI, and I'm just like, I'm so proud of myself. I'm just like, oh my God, I'm actually, you know what I mean? Like, I get excited about those little things. And so it's a partnership where I can help you tremendously, but then I'm going to learn from you too. And it's never like I'm here and you're here. We just bring different skills to the table. We're a team, we're partners. And that's how I see it. I see it as a partnership, not as like, I'm here, you're here. You know what I mean?
100%, dude. No, and I appreciate that. And again, guys, I can attest, you know, Shanne is a giver. He pours his heart into this, and anybody that needs him, he's there, you know, no matter what. And it's been really incredible to watch. So Shanne, again, thank you so much, brother, for kind of opening your playbook and sharing so many incredible strategies that I know if people actually implement them consistently, it can completely change the trajectory of your business. So guys, we're going to wrap it up here for today. But again, I will link all of Shanne's content below, including his incredible podcast and his calendar, if you would like to chat with him about breaking into the luxury space and also leveling up your production. So thanks so much again, brother. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Mike. It's great being here with you, man. I appreciate it.
You bet, man. Take care, guys. Thanks so much. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.